to another Universe Mode series. That's what mostly I do on this channel. And today, this Universe Mode, we have three shows: Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. Those three shows, we're gonna have those in the series. Okay, sorry, my mic came off, but yeah. So I took a probably 1.5 hour to write everybody's name that I want in this universe mode in a piece of paper, cut them, fold them, and put them in a box or a bowl. I put them in a box. And I'm gonna shake the box, and then I'm gonna turn around and pick a random name. That random name will go to that show that I announce is that pick for. Then I'm gonna keep doing it until everything is gone, and then that will be the rosters, and then yeah, and then we'll kick off the series and all that. So I got two boxes. One where I'm gonna put all the picks that were drafted already in that box. One of them is where all the picks are, so you kind of can hear the paper, but you might not be able to hear me. So I'm gonna turn that down. Okay. So if you didn't hear me, I said I wrote everybody's name. It took me an hour 1.5 hours to put everybody's name that I want drafted in a box, and I'm gonna draft all of them and to see who's drafted. And I have two boxes. One has draft picks, and one is gonna put where I'm gonna put the draft picks at. So this is for Raw's first pick. So Raw's first pick in the draft. There's also I put some tag teams in here, so we'll see who goes where. But Raw's first draft pick is Rebecca Ivy. Rebecca Ivy, she's an indie professional wrestler. She just signed with the WWE. She just signed with WWE, and she's here to make an impact by heading to Monday Night Raw. She says that she's here to make a statement, and she says Raw is her priority. She's the first pick for Raw, so she's in charge of the women's division now. So she's the first pick, and we might see her in the Raw Women's Championship match on the first episode, or we might have a tournament for the first pay-per-view. So we're gonna shake the box now because we want everything to be fair. We want everything to be fair. So we're just gonna shake the box and see who's NXT's first pick. Okay. NXT's first pick is okay. NXT's first pick is Jack. Jack is a transgender professional wrestler. He came out and his indie. He came out. Um, he came out when he was wrestling at a show called EPW. He came out as transgender, but he came out when he was a female. But now he transgendered into a boy and he still calls himself Jack, and that's why Jack is going to NXT. But Jack, he says that he's wrestling men, but he's gonna wrestle in a women appearance. So great for Jack, and congratulations going to NXT. So gave that a shake. Going to Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown's first pick. Okay. Friday Night SmackDown's first pick. Okay. Friday Night SmackDown's first pick is indie wrestler the Demon CJ. Demon CJ came from the Indies, and he formerly wrestled in a show called EWF. And He uh, he has some friends over there. He rests with some of his friends currently. Bill Mitchell, Bruce Mitchell, they're brothers. Charles Bailey, Jay King, and all of them. But CJ has some good news for him. His buddies also signed to WWE, and now they're here to see if they get drafted. Back to Raw's second pick. So let's see who's going to Raw. Going to Raw is. Oh, I think I got two names. Okay. Going to Raw. Ooh. Going to Raw, making his return to the WWE. That is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes left. He quit being the chief officer at AEW. He came back to WWE, his home, and now he's going to Raw. So let's see who's going to NXT to join Jack. Going to NXT is indie wrestler Magical Daniel. Magical Daniel coming from also EWF. EWF with his formerly friend CJ. Magical Daniel is now going to NXT to get up the rankings before season 2's draft. He might go either to Raw or SmackDown, but Magical Daniel is headed to NXT. Going to SmackDown. Oh, going to SmackDown. Ooh. Going to SmackDown is the Revival. The Revival, the first tag team pick to head to SmackDown. So they could go for the SmackDown tag team titles. So let's get the Revival to the blue brand. I saw, where's Scott Dawson? I just saw him. Oh, there he is. Going to the blue brand. Okay. Now going to Raw as the third pick. Going to Raw. Ooh. Is indie wrestler from Revolt. He calls himself the Alpha Wolf Barrett Castle. He calls himself the Alpha Wolf Barrett Castle, leaving Revolt to join the WWE to go to Raw. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is AK-47. AK-47 wrestling, he wrestled in a show called Hyperspeed. And he did great over there, but he didn't like it, so he joined WWE. And now he's headed to NXT to see if he can make some great things over there. Now going off to Friday Night SmackDown. I'm just gonna grab this one. Going on Friday Night SmackDown is former NXT superstar, because I say former because they're not staying on NXT no more. Going on Friday Night SmackDown is Dakota Kai, their first female superstar. So Rebecca Ivy is the first female superstar for Raw. So most likely she might be in the Raw Women's Championship match. Dakota Kai, the first woman for SmackDown, most likely might be in the SmackDown Women's Championship match. So great for them. Let's see who's finna go to NXT. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is Breezango, their first tag team pick. So most likely, we might see Breezango be the first ones to go for the NXT tag team titles. With their teamwork, we might see them become the first ever NXT tag team champions. So let's get Breezango and make them head to NXT. They're going back to NXT to train more, to get more, training, and then maybe in season 2 they might head to Raw or SmackDown. Going to SmackDown. Interesting. Going to SmackDown is Japan's favorite superstar, Japan's indie favorite superstar, Cole Quinn from the Japan. He's headed to the Blue Brand. So he wrestles in WWE's Japan program, and he graduated, and now he's headed to SmackDown. So let's see who's going to Raw. Going to Raw is AJ Styles. Y'all know him. He's staying currently on Raw. So, going to NXT. Okay, going back to NXT to get more training, I see. Going back to NXT is Alexa Bliss. To get more training like Breezango. So, we'll see what they can do. But, Alexa Bliss, keep up the good work and see if you can go after. Oh, that's Alexa Bliss is the first ever NXT. She is the first NXT female pick, so we might see her in the Women's Championship match. Going to the Blue Brand. Okay, going to the Blue Brand. An interesting pick. We haven't seen anything from him, but we might see some great things on SmackDown. Jackson Ryker. Jackson Ryker, formerly a member of the Forgotten Sons. He wanted to go solo, so he's going to the Blue Brand. Going to Raw is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, some legends are coming out of retirement, and one of them is going to Raw, and that's Steve Austin. We might see some great things from him. Oh, what? I'm kidding. We are gonna see some great things from him. We might see him as the first WWE champion. Going to NXT. Going to NXT, indie wrestler from Baron Blade's BCW program. He just graduated. Jackson Gunner. Headed to NXT. Yeah. Okay, going to the Blue Brand. Ooh. Going to the Blue Brand, Triple H. He's a Hall of Famer, but he wants to come out of retirement, and he's going to SmackDown. Okay, going to the Red Brand. Going to the Red Brand, former NXT superstar, because they're not an NXT superstar, they're going up. Going to Raw is Damian Priest, former NXT North American champion. That's all he accomplished. So let's see what he can accomplish on the Red Brand. Who's going to NXT? Going to NXT is Okay. Going from NXT UK, graduating NXT UK to now be a former, to now be a fully NXT member. Pete Dunne is going to NXT. Going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown is Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn, let's put him on the blue brand. Leaving Raw to the blue brand. He can go fight for the Intercontinental Championship over there. Okay, getting all my papers in here. Okay. Hotel. Okay. Going to Raw. Going to Raw. It's the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler going to Raw. Going to NXT. Going back to NXT is EC3. EC3 is going to NXT. Going to the blue brand. Okay. Leaving TNA to join WWE. SmackDown is getting James Storm. He's left TNA to go to WWE, and now he's going to SmackDown to join. Also, his best friend Robert Roode is here still, so we might see them go to the same brand, and they might become a tag team known as Beer Money, like how they were in TNA. Going to Raw. Okay, let's see. There's a comment. Go to sleep. No. It said no. Going to Raw is Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey. Headed to the red brand. Going to NXT. Oh. Staying on NXT is Velveteen Dream. Going to SmackDown is Noam Dar. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Dynamic Smith. Also, an EPF superstar, Dynamic Smith. He's going to Raw. Going to NXT is the Usos. They have downgraded to the NXT roster. Bum, 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 bum. Downgraded to NXT. Going to SmackDown is X-Pac coming out of retirement. He's going to the blue brand. Victor, if you're still here, where you think you finna be drafted to? Going to Raw is CJ Gunn. Going to NXT Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio going to NXT. Going to SmackDown, Amber Moon. Going to the red brand is The Big Show. Going to NXT is Quest. Going to NXT. Going to SmackDown is Skull Crusher. Going to the blue brand. Going to Raw is Jalissa. Jalissa. Going to NXT. Okay. Going to NXT is Killian Dane. I guess staying on NXT. Going to SmackDown. A former NXT superstar now, Dexter Lumis. And I found a good one, so he's headed to the blue brand. Going to Raw is Alex King. Alex King. Going to NXT is Colt Valentine. After this, I will finish the draft, and then later on today, I'm guessing when I wake up, I'll do first episode and all that. Going to SmackDown. No, yeah, going to SmackDown is a interesting pick, but we might see some great things from him. Tony Nese. Going to Raw is Becky Lynch. Going to Raw is Becky Lynch. Going to NXT is Eric T. Eric T. Going to SmackDown. Okay, before my headphones came on, going to SmackDown is Nikki Cross. Going to Raw is Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is leaving NXT and going to Raw. Going to NXT is Rey Fenix, leaving AEW and Lucha Underground to go to WWE, and now will be going to NXT. Going to SmackDown, Sheamus. Going to Raw. Okay. Going to Raw is Drew Gulak. Going to NXT. Oh God. Going back to NXT, it seems, is Lars Sullivan. I feel bad for the rookies over there. Going to SmackDown is James Fatal. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Sting. Wait, is this wrong? Yes, this is wrong because SmackDown got James Fatal. Going to NXT. Okay. Interesting. Going to NXT. One of them is going back. The rest never been to NXT. But going to NXT is Lucha House Party. All of them. They're great additions to NXT. They might do great things as NXT Tag Team Champions. But let's see who's going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown is Elias. Going to Raw is Apollo Crews. Going to NXT. He never wrestled in NXT, but this will be his first time because going to NXT is John Morrison. Also, I might change the US title and the Intercontinental title. I might put the Intercontinental on Raw and might put the US title on SmackDown. But going to SmackDown, is China. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is The Undertaker. He's not a part-timer no more, I'm guessing. I'm guessing Raw wants him full-time. So we'll see what Undertaker... I'm guessing we might see Undertaker go for the WWE Championship. Going to NXT, if also first time in NXT. Going to NXT, The Miz. Going to SmackDown is Austin Theory. Leaving NXT again, to this time going to the Blue Brand. Going to Raw. Going to Raw. Making his return to WWE is TJP. I know it's you, Victor. Victor, predict what show you finna land on. Going to NXT is the Street Profits. I'm gonna land on SmackDown? Okay. A prediction, okay. Let's see. Your name hasn't been pulled from the mystery hat. Going to SmackDown is the entire members of the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roger Strong are headed to the Blue Brand. So Victor, if you do land at the Blue Brand, you could try to team up. Or you might fight your idol Adam Cole on SmackDown for maybe a title, or you might be one of his newest members in Undisputed Era if one of his members get fired from it. Where Bobby Fish at? Okay. Do 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 do. No 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 no. Okay, and then Roderick Strong. Going to SmackDown. Going to Raw. Let me shake it. Hey, you're getting 2K Battleground? I already got it. I already got it. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Joe Cool. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is the Punisher. Oh God. Not only they got Lars, but they got this maniac. Oh God. NXT finna have monsters to be unstoppable with. Going to SmackDown. Oh my God. Going to SmackDown to join Cole Quinn. It's Umago Jr. And Umago Jr. just landed on the blue ring. Going oh, that's two. Going to Raw is the Omega Wolf. Do 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 do. The Omega Wolf. Going to NXT, Austin Aries. Austin Aries. Going to NXT. Going to SmackDown is Finn Balor. Finn Balor headed to the blue brand. Going to the red brand. Going to the red brand is Robert Roode. Robert Roode headed to the red brand. He's staying. Going to NXT it's Mustache Mountain. Trent Seventh and Tyler Bate are headed and staying on NXT. So for NXT has multiple tag teams. I believe Raw has none, I believe, and SmackDown has 2. So going to the blue brand is Jackson Sacramento. Going to the blue brand. Going to Raw. Going to the red brand is AJ Lee. AJ is going back. Is making her return, and she will be headed to the red brand. Going to NXT is the returning to the WWE, but with a new name, Pac. He's headed to the yellow brand. Going to the blue brand, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Going to Raw. Going to Raw, Indy Hartwell. Going to NXT, Shelton Benjamin. Going to SmackDown, is JJ Ramirez. Jay Ramirez headed to the blue brand. Going to the blue brand. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Natalya. She's staying on Raw. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Okay. Going to NXT. Kurt Angle. No, he has never been there. But he's coming out of retirement to go to the yellow brand. Going to the blue brand, Michael Roberts. Day one is done. Day one is oh, he'll be right back. Okay. Going to the red brand. Going to Raw is Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa going to Raw. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is the Brian Kendrick. Going to NXT. Going to SmackDown. Interesting. Shane Thorne. He was not doing. He did great stuff in NXT, but since he's in single competition, I want to see what he can do on the blue brand. Maybe he could become the next U.S. champion. Going to Raw is King Jordan. King Jordan, the devil. Going to Raw. Going to NXT, the Giant Killer. Going to SmackDown is Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan is heading to SmackDown. Going to Raw. Going to the Raw brand is Jeff Hardy. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. More tag teams. NXT and SmackDown. SmackDown's not doing. SmackDown has 2 tag teams. NXT, he has the Overlord of tag teams. And Raw, I think they don't got none. And they better start getting some, because there's a lot. There's still more tag teams, but they better start going. They finna go soon, because I think NXT is trying to snatch them up to make them better on NXT. Going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown, The New Day. Big E, Kofi, and Xavier are headed to the blue brand. And SmackDown told me that Big E will be in the singles competition and Kofi and Xavier Woods will be in the tag division. So that they're getting drafted together, but Big E is gonna work to get either the Universal title or the United States title. But they can also switch, and all 3 of them can switch, try to go and get some singles going on around their ways. 2 can get the tag teams, and 1 could be Universal or US champion. Going to Raw is Brock Lesnar. Going to Raw is Brock Lesnar. Going to NXT is Jordan Walker. Going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown is Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Going to the blue brand, and his trunks match the blue. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Cameron Rose. So you're seeing some new faces, some indie people. You're seeing some people that are newcomers and some from the indies. And they're coming to make an impact. Going to NXT is... Going to NXT. Oh my god, I folded this paper too low. Going to NXT is... Going to NXT is the Psycho Killers. That's the Psycho Killer Brothers, Ronald and the Sinister Rated. They're going to NXT. NXT has all the tag teams. Raw might not have a tag division. SmackDown has 3. So they could see, but there is more tag teams, so we could see NXT with... We could see with Raw and SmackDown with an even amount of teams. But going to SmackDown is CM Punk. He's making his return, and he's coming back. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is DKT. Going to NXT is Sean Daman. Sean Daman is going to NXT. Going to the blue brand is Bruce Mitchell. Sexy. Going to the red brand. Going to the red brand is Everett. Going my controller fell. But going to NXT is Kushida. Going to SmackDown is Pentagon Jr. Going to the blue brand. Going to Raw is Harper. And if Raw don't get tag teams, they can make up tag teams with their roster. Going to NXT is Selena Vega. Going to SmackDown is Molly Holly. Going to Raw is AOP, their first tag team pick. Ankam and Rezar. So, they got their first tag team, so they need to keep it up and get more tag teams in the future. In this episode, going to NXT, Rosemary. Going to SmackDown is Lita. Going to Raw. Lacey Evans. Going to NXT. Is Mandy Rose. Going to SmackDown. Is Trish Stratus. Going to Raw is Tessa Blanchard. Going to NXT. Is David Reese. David Reese is going to NXT. Going to SmackDown is Sonya Deville. Going to SmackDown. Going to Raw is John Moxley. Going to NXT is R-Truth. Going to SmackDown is Sin Cara. Going to Raw is Sasha Banks. Going to NXT Jinder Mahal. Going to SmackDown is Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce heading to the Blue Brand. Going to Raw, Hollywood Hulk Hogan is going to Raw. Coming out of retirement. Going to NXT is Ali. Going to SmackDown is Seth Rollins, headed to SmackDown. Going to Raw is Joshua White. Going to NXT is Johnny Gargano. Going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown is Oni Lorcan. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Keith Lee. Going to NXT is Matt Riddle. he's staying. No, he's going back to NXT. Going to SmackDown. Going to SmackDown. Heavy Machinery. Going to Raw is Tamina. Going to Raw is Tamina. Going to NXT is Buddy Murphy. Going to going to going to SmackDown, Max Ryan. Going to Raw is Kane. Going to NXT Going to NXT, Awesome Kong. Going to SmackDown is the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivorg. Going to Raw, Killer Cross. Going to NXT, going to NXT, Karan Cook. Going to SmackDown is Chris Jericho. Going to Raw is Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar. And he's going to Raw. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Ruby Riott. Going to SmackDown is Jay King. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Matt Hardy. Going to NXT, Hades. Going to SmackDown is Titus O'Neil. Going to Raw is Shinsuke Nakamura. Okay. I had to scratch my ear. Going to NXT Going to NXT, Harlow O'Hare. Going to SmackDown, Ricochet. Going to Raw, is Ira Davari. Going to NXT, Andrade. Going to SmackDown, it's Ross Mackey. And Raw's next pick is the Club, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Okay. Oh, sorry. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is Cassius Ohno. Going to SmackDown is Samoa Joe. Going to Raw is Goldberg. Going to NXT going to NXT, Rusev. Going to SmackDown is Cesaro. Going to Raw is Brie Bella. Going to NXT is Corey Hart. Going to SmackDown Going to SmackDown is Victor Morales. Going to Raw Going to Raw is Mark Andrews. Going to NXT Going to NXT, No Way Jose. Going to SmackDown, Roman Reigns. Going to Raw is Billy Kay. Going to NXT Going to NXT, Mercedes Martinez. Going to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre. Going to Raw, Bobby Lashley. Going to NXT is the MVP. Going to SmackDown. It's Tony Storm. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Carmella. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Asuka. Going to SmackDown is Josie Jane. Going to Raw is Nikki Bella. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is Bailey. And going to SmackDown is Bianca Belair. Going to Raw, Randy Orton. Going to NXT is Madison Bay. And now going to SmackDown, John Cena. Going to Raw, Matt Sydal. Going to NXT, Kairi Sane. Going to SmackDown is Mike Kanellis. Going to Raw is Herberto Carrito. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Brutus. And going to SmackDown. Shawn Michaels. Going to Raw. Nia Jax. Going to NXT. Going to NXT is Aleister Black. And going to SmackDown is Eddie Guerrero. Going to Raw. Raw Van Dam. Going to NXT. Baron Corbin. Going to SmackDown is Christian. Going to Raw. Io Shirai is going to Raw. Going to NXT. Lee Kelly. Going to SmackDown is Maria Kanellis. Going to Raw. Going to Raw. Heath Slater. Going to NXT. Lana. Going to SmackDown. Mickey James. Going to Raw. Alicia Fox. Going to NXT. Beth Phoenix. Going to SmackDown is Lori Lauren. Going to Raw. Going to Raw is Gabriel Ed. Going to NXT is Sabu. Going to SmackDown is Kylie Ray. Going to Raw Akira Tozawa. Going to NXT Charlotte Flair. Coming to SmackDown Mojo Rawley. Going to Raw Candice LeRae. Going to NXT Dana Brooke. Going to SmackDown Kenny Omega. Going to Raw Chelsea Green. Going to Raw Cedric Alexander. Going to NXT The B team. Going to SmackDown. Marine Brooks. Going to Raw. Bill Mitchell. Going to NXT. The Rock. The Rock. The SmackDown gets Kevin Owens. Going to Raw. Dragon Lee. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Chad Gable. Going to SmackDown. Brian Cage. Going to Raw. Naomi. Going to NXT. Rowan. Going to SmackDown is Braun. It's Daniel Bryan. Going to Raw. Braun Strowman. Going to NXT. Going to NXT. Liv Morgan. Going to SmackDown. Batista. Going to Raw. Mark Henry. Going to NXT. Booker T. Going to SmackDown, NWO. Going to Raw, Rey Mysterio. Going to NXT, Mia Yim. Going to SmackDown, Charles Bailey. And Raw's final pick, Maurice. Oh, never mind. Going to NXT, Eric Young. And then going to SmackDown is Paige. And that's the final pick of the draft. So that will conclude the draft of the universe mode. So yeah. Well, thank you for watching the stream. Thank you.